well, wait a minute. If you schedule it to start at 9, okay, we're live. It's fine.
We should email Google. We should email them.
These are the only 150 people in the world who can't give less of a shit about whether we're live streaming or not.
This is true, but it's important to me, so.
The whole 10-minute opening is about live streaming. These are like, we are here. Do it.
Hey, Mark. It's working.
Thank you, Sam. Sam is our live stream moderator. All right, Paula, let's turn on the big screen. Let's get ready to get this started. Oh, crap. Hold on. Sorry, I should have closed that. Sorry. Oh, crap. I should have closed that. Oh, no. I really went for it last night. Oh, no. Oh, no. I looked at some really bad memes. Oh, crap. I should have closed that. Oh, no. I should have closed that. Oh, no. Should have closed. Oh, no. I should have closed that. Close it. Close it. No, save it, of course. Replace. Phew. Okay, Darren. Sorry. Let's try that again. Darren, start me up. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Keep going. I want to start it in presenter view so I can see my notes. Yeah, there we go. And then we're going to full screen it like that. All right, everybody, welcome. We are talking about Google, the most popular site, the Amazon.com of search, the at least it's not Facebook of privacy. Google has over a 90% market share in search. That's crazy. I don't even have a 90% market share in sweatshirts with my face on it. My friend Kevin is fucking killing me. Fuck you, Kevin! Google turns 21 this September, and now they can drink. All right, let's go dance at Thanksgiving. Woo, let's make that joke. All right. Yes, a lot has changed since that humble little search engine disrupted the Ask Jeeves-dominated world of the late 1990s. From Don't Be Evil to Project Dragonfly. From 20% time to firing workers for union organizing. From Google Wave to Google checking accounts. Okay, what's the world's organizer of information up to now? Other than, of course, making us cry during the fucking Super Bowl. I don't know if you saw this heartbreaking ad, but I do want to just point out on the YouTube video, this is the saddest comment I've read from Jokerman 1991. This makes me sad because I'll never have a connection like this with a girlfriend/wife, but I'm glad others get to experience this. Don't ever take anything for granted, everybody. And yes, Jokerman 1991 does only upload videos of himself impersonating the Joker. 45,800 subscribers. Chances are, if you came across Google in the news recently, the subject of the article was the #1 buzzword of the past 3 years. Visco girl. I'm sorry, I meant privacy. Let's start there. Google tracks your location, even sometimes when you specifically tell it not to. In 2018, researchers at Princeton found that obfuscated tools like location history or non-location-based tools like web search will store your data when you open up the Maps app or make a Google search from your phone. This data feeds an enormous database that Google has called Sensor Vault, which has been used by the police to track alleged criminals. And I like to call it Chekhov's database. If you create a database that's filled with all humans' personal and location data in Act 1, by Act 3, the police are going to use it to violate human rights. Which is a really clever joke, and I knew that would be the reaction, but I just love it, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It works so well also with this weird tough guy cop picture.
I can't get enough of stock photos that are bad that also have the stock photo image in them. That's iconique. As you may know, the EU has implemented a strict data protection and privacy regulation called GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, and in September, Google was accused of violating GDPR by secretly feeding personal data from advertisers in Europe, leading to an inquiry from the Irish Data Protection Commission. More like, get the frick out of here, am I right?
I liked that. Very funny.
Okay, last November, a whistleblower told The Guardian about Project Nightingale. That was where one of the largest healthcare providers in the United States gave all of the medical data, including our full names and full details of 50 million Americans, to Google without their consent. Which is actually an interesting argument against Medicare for All. The uninsured have more privacy. So, we're having fun, huh? We're having fun. We are having fun. Okay. These recent controversies have fueled the de-Google movement, leading to countless guides on how to get off Google.
Oh, is that I thought it was just Italian Google. De-Google.
Hey, I like it.
All right.
Raleigh, I liked that one.
Thank you.
It's very
Thank
funny.
you. Anyway, back to the thing you had planned.
Our guest Sarah Morrison will talk later about how much Google knows about you, and you might decide that you might want to de-Google yourself, but please de-Google yourself in the privacy of your own home. I don't need to see that. How did we get here? Okay, well, it's primarily due to the fact that Google's whole business plan depends on our sensitive and personal information. Well, and their official Google merch. Nifty shades of gray? Now that's some copy that's topical and hilarious. They let us use their suite of amazing products, and all that we give in exchange is everything about us, all of our information. What do we get? Okay, well, for starters, there's the big father, Google Search. Google.com is the most visited website in the world, after markvigen.xxx, that is. Which is a real website that you could go to, and I've showed it to my mom, and she hated it. There's the whole search family, including Google Images, Google Finance, Google Shopping, Google Books, Google Scholar, Google Flights, and Google Alerts. Fuck you, teen in Massachusetts who has my name. Fucking sending me an email every time you're in a tennis match. Motherfucker.
The Ronnie's one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Then there are the search-related products like Google News, a news aggregator, Google Groups, a web and email discussion service, and Google Translate, an on-demand translator. Too bad it can't translate my frickin' wife! Just kidding, our communication is wonderful and I love her so much. Then there's the second most popular website on the internet, YouTube.com. I did a whole show about YouTube in August, but for those of you who missed it, I just want to show you the best video on YouTube. Darren, just real quick, I want to show them this piece of art here that I made.
So, Mark.
Hi.
Loud, Mark.
Hi. That's it. That's the best video on YouTube. Then there are the beloved communications and publishing tools like Gmail, which is email for people who aren't insane, Google Calendar, which is an online calendar, Blogger, which is a service for nerds who came of age in the early 2000s, Google Docs, a word processor, Google Drive, a cloud storage provider, Google Hangouts, a communication platform, even fucking Google Fonts. Google Fonts, my dudes. That's real. They have a shitload of development tools like Google App Engine, which is the host of my personal web ring. You can see .xxx is right down here. .net is a keeper, and so is .lol. I do have a dark web website, but it was hacked. And it's gone. And I emailed the guys who gave me server space, and they're like, it's gone. This happens to us on the dark web. They've got Dart, their structured web programming language, Go, their compiled concurrent programming language, and a bunch of other APIs, libraries, and stuff like AngularJS. Oh, and don't forget their whole fucking suite of maps, the 15-year-old Google Maps, which includes Google Street View and a whole location recommendation and review system. There's even Google Mars, Google Moon, Google Sky, and Google My Ass. I feel real good about this bit.
Is that your real butt, Mark?
That's my real ass.
Wow. Give it up for Mark's ass, everybody.
In the icon down here, you can see a little butt.
Carly's taking pictures. Should we get a shot of it?
That's my butt. In front of people who don't want to see it.
Also, just to draw a little attention to that, this is like south is up, so you were upside down, or your phone was upside down when you took that picture. If you look at this arrow, because red is north. Fuck you guys!
I'm moving on. Nerd!
Fucking nerd, man.
They offer statistical tools like Google Analytics, which is for measuring web traffic on your website, Google Trends, a graphing application for web search statistics, and TensorFlow, a machine learning service for that simplifies designing neural networks. Let's not forget their operating system, Android, which has over 70% market share in the mobile operating system space, and their very popular browser, Google Chrome, which also commands a very high market percentage with 65% of the browser market, mostly because it allows you to do this when you're offline. If you are like me 2 years ago and didn't know that when you're offline, if you hit spacebar, it's a game, now you know. It's a fucking game. Now that's the free stuff, or let me say that's some of the free stuff. Then there's the stuff you gotta pay for. You've got the backbone of their profit model, advertising. So there's Google Ads, Google Ad Manager, AdMob, Google AdSense. These are some of the products that are made for, wait for it, advertising. Yes, Google Cloud Platform is their cloud computing service. They service cities with broadband internet with Google Fiber. Google Fi is their phone plan. Stadia is their video game streaming service. What's next? Them interfering with the government? Oh, no. Oh, wow, that's real. Okay, that's good. Okay. Oh, and they also make hardware, including but not limited to Pixel, a smartphone, Nexus, a shittier smartphone, the Nest, thermostat and sometimes camera, the Pixelbook, a laptop and sometimes tablet, Google Glass, which does still exist, motherfuckers, and Google Home, their home assistant. Not to be confused with Google's Home, which is right here, inside my heart. Next to all those spiders I ate. All of these, plus dozens of more products that I didn't name, mine our information. It's also worth noting that Google restructured itself in 2015 so that it could recreate itself. Out of its ashes was born Alphabet, a multinational conglomerate that slimmed down what Google was working on. But seriously, it's all the same people. I mean, they even share the same CEO, Sundar Pichai. Not that their fucking website even acknowledges it. Their website still says Larry Page is the CEO, so I guess even if Alphabet has an out-of-date personal website, I guess I can give you a pass, Raleigh, for not listing this show on your website.
Well, okay. All right. First of all, let me be the first to apologize. Second of all, I guess the only show I list is a show from literally a year and a month ago, or a year ago in March.
Yeah, that was my main point.
Sorry.
And
I'm so
fine.
sorry.
Every personal website is out of date. I tweeted about it. So technically, Alphabet and not Google owns several research and development firms, a VC firm, a private equity firm, and the makers of the autonomous vehicle Waymo, or as I like to call it, way more practical than whatever the fuck this is, guys. Come on. Hey, come on. Hey, Google Translate that! Okay, here we go. These folks spend more money in wacky ideas than Mike Bloomberg, am I right? We like that he's running. Okay, so how can they afford that? Oh yeah, that's right, Google's insane amount of revenue. Which comes primarily from advertising. In the fourth quarter of 2019, they made over $45 billion in revenue. That's more money than Serbia makes in 1 year. To put things in perspective even further, with $45 billion, you could buy roughly 1 million of those creepy Boston Dynamics dogs every 3 months. Wow. What a hellscape that would be. Millions of these dogs. Their immense amount of money, computing power, brain power, they all combine to give Google an immense amount of power to make really incredible things. Beyond giving us the entire Microsoft Office suite for free and making, talking into a webcam a full-time job, here is a short list of some of the cool stuff that Google has done in like the last 3 months. First of all, they achieved quantum supremacy in September using a quantum computer to calculate a calculation in 3 minutes and 20 seconds that would have taken the world's largest supercomputer summit 10,000 years. to compute. Okay, that's pretty cool. They've improved weather forecasts using neural networks. Last month, they published the world's highest resolution map of brain connectivity for fruit fly brain. They've developed an AI model to help save orcas who are endangered. They've put over $5 million into a housing project in San Jose. They're teaming up with Climacell to launch free high-resolution weather forecasts in India. And I'm sure I don't have to tell you how awesome their free products are. They literally just released an app on your phone that's a real-time translator. It's the Babelfish from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's real. It's a real thing. Okay? That's awesome. But their wealth and resources have also allowed them to create some less celebrated stuff, like using their sophisticated eye to help oil companies find oil, or donating substantial amounts of money to climate change deniers, or reopening their offices in Cairo and working closely with their brutal and repressive government, or Project Dragonfly, their storied attempt to create a censored search engine in China that linked users' searches to their personal phone numbers, or their discontinued Project Maven, where Google was using their AI capabilities to analyze drone footage for the Pentagon, or Google Plus, that horrible search engine, a disgrace. I called it a search engine and it really was a social network, but also what the fuck was it? I don't know. I was an Orchid fan. That's a joke for one of you. Okay, and now there's a movement of Googlers,
Who?
people who work at Google.
Gotcha.
Who want more of the say over what they're doing, which leads to the other big topic in Google in the news lately, which is worker unrest, which is kind of surprising and uncharacteristic because forever Google was celebrated for being the best to their employees. For instance, they just released this Medium article about how they got their employees to eat more vegetables. That's cool because we all know that vegetables freaking stink. Let's get the frick out of here and tech deck, my dudes. You know, it's been a week, you know? It all started for a, and now for a harsh shift in tone. It all started with Google's handling of the resignation of Andy Rubin. He was given a hero's welcome that included a $90 million exit package. And not once did the company acknowledge the very credible claims of sexual misconduct that Rubin had against another Google employee. This led to the Google walkout of November 2018, where over 20,000 Googlers took to the streets in protest of Google's actions. The walkout did result in an overhaul to Google's sexual misconduct policy and inspired a whole new wave of tech workers fighting for their rights across the country. Unfortunately, last year it was also revealed that the people who organized that walkout faced retaliation. But at least Andy Rubin's new startup has failed. So that's news. That's Schadenfreude. We're gonna clap for it. He's bad. Last September, Pittsburghers.
Who?
Okay, you don't call people who work in Pittsburgh Pittsburghers. Last September, Pittsburgh contractors voted to unionize, which is really important because, as I mentioned earlier, contractors at Google actually outnumber full-time employees. Then in October, Google tried to shut down a unionization meeting in Zurich, incurring the wrath of Googlers across the world. Later in the month, Google was accused of creating a spy tool to squelch worker dissent. In November, Googlers protested Google's lack of effort to combat climate change. And then workers discovered via an internal Google calendar that the company had hired a popular union-busting firm, IRI. God, I hope nobody ever sees my Google calendar. What? And now, because it's so small, I will read it to you.
Your hands.
I just steal tuna from my handsome neighbor, Steven.
2 to 4:45.
Yeah, he's a good
a long
man.
time.
And then take a picture of my butt for the presentation at the top of the show. Tell handsome neighbor Steven that you saw grumpy old Phil steal his tuna. Eat ice and also do some sins. Spend the morning breaking the law. Okay, so I guess the funnier part of this is that I accidentally made this on a shared Google Calendar with my family. And my sister-in-law was like, What happened? And I felt good. Things came to a head in Thanksgiving when 4 Googlers were fired, allegedly for labor organizing. The Thanksgiving 4, as they are known, are filing a federal complaint. A 5th Googler, Kathryn Spiers, who I'm speaking with later tonight, and I'm very excited with, was fired in December for creating a pop-up in their internal Google Chrome that let other Googlers know of their labor organizing rights. But workers aren't the only ones who have been interested in Google changing course. The government, as well as several other corporations, have been trying to make Google change its ways for years now. It shouldn't surprise you that Congress wasn't thrilled when they heard about Project Dragonfly. Of course, in court, Pichai declined to say that Google wouldn't launch a tool that was for surveillance and censorship in China. And I get it, okay? He didn't want to commit himself, and I don't know what the future holds. Like, I didn't know that a video of myself naked pretending to be a cat would go viral about a year ago, and now we're gonna watch it because I have to show you if you haven't seen it, which I'm assuming you haven't because you don't know who I am. This little TikTok I made.
Are you blind when you're born?
That's a remake of the Nuke of Cats. Yeah, so I mean, I didn't know that I was gonna make that and then get like a few laughs in this room tonight, you know, a year ago. So I might create a censored surveillance tool in China next year. I don't know. Democratic presidential candidate hopeful Elizabeth Warren has made a campaign pledge to break up big tech. Similarly, Bernie Sanders has Google in his sights. Last June, the House Antitrust Subcommittee announced a bipartisan investigation in the tech sector, which they and the Department of Justice are tag teaming, where the Department of Justice is investigating Google and Apple. Soon after, a coalition of attorneys general for 50 states and U.S. territories announced a separate joint antitrust probe into Google. Right before the House Antitrust Subcommittee sent a massive request for information from Google and the other tech giants, and the investigation is only intensifying. While the future is unclear, former FTC Chairman William Kovacic told Vox's Recode it's infeasible for the FTC to come through this calendar year without something in hand. Some have even proposed an FTC overhaul. Now, let me just tell you, trying to keep track of this whole antitrust thing is like a full-time job, and like clearly I'm so busy. Like, it's just like really, and also 3 likes, guys. Come on, throw me a bone here. I'm sweating. After firing the Thanksgiving 4, they're back under investigation for labor practices. Last month, Sonos sued Google for the alleged stealing of speaker technology. And I'm only talking about the United States right now. The EU has fined Google over $9 billion since 2017. But despite all of this, Alphabet still makes a shitload of money. And that's primarily because their products are so firmly embedded in the daily lives of so many people across the globe. De-Googling yourself isn't going to stop that. Worker unity and government regulation could. But one thing that each of you can do today to make a difference is link to any of my websites from your personal website. Because as you can see, I'm crushing page 1 when you search Mark Vigent, but I want those other fucking Mark Vigents to be buried. Okay, and that includes you, Mark C. Vigent Jr., who's fucking squatting on the Mark Vigent Instagram handle despite not posting in 3 years. I don't care how cute your cat is or how apparent it is that we share similar interests. I want you out of here, Mark.
That cat looks just like your cat.
That cat looks just like my cat. And that's the presentation, everybody. Are you ready to start the show again? I'm so excited for our first guest tonight from Vox's Recode. Please welcome to the stage Sarah Morrison, everybody. All right, here we go. I'm gonna make this smooth. You make this smooth.
Make this smooth.
Gonna make this smooth.
Make it smooth.
Gonna make it smooth.
And it's smooth.
I am making it smooth.
Cookie smooth.
It is going smooth.
Smooth as water.
It is so smooth.
But not rough water.
It is really going
As
smooth.
smooth as water
Here you go,
in the game.
Sarah.
Smooth.
Why didn't I get one of those face mics? huge. I am Sarah Morrison. I write about data privacy, etc. at Vox's Recode. And today I'm going to talk to you about cookies, past, present, and future. So, there we go. Well, I guess we're not going to. It does not
Pointed at the sensor.
Should we Google it?
Thanks, guys.
You gotta point it. Oh.
It
Wait,
wasn't
turn
my
it up.
fault. Wasn't my fault.
Smooth. Smooth as ice. Everybody loves to get smooth.
All right.
Smoothest
Smooth like
pointer
Mark's
in
butt.
the game.
Smooth like Mark's butt.
Smooth butt.
I would also like to apologize for being about the same height as the podium, but I can't really help that. Okay. Why doesn't this work?
Technically, just to throw this in there, that's technically a lectern.
Sorry for being the same height
It's
as
okay.
the lectern.
Podiums are what you stand on.
I can't make the Google Doc work now.
Darren,
It doesn't
hit
go
it.
up and down.
Smooth. Smooth as water.
Yeah.
Yeah, this table's killing it.
Interesting.
Every other table, try to be more like
good.
this table. But don't try too hard, because we'll know.
Okay. Then I
Right.
put this-
Phone it in. Yeah, so like an Olympic medal podium, you stand
no,
on.
actually, we're gonna turn it
and
up,
then
turn
a
the music up.
lectern, You sit
Turn
behind.
the music up so we
yeah.
can't hear this.
So that's how you can remember.
No,
'cause
I
you
don't
just-
actually need to know that. I actually don't. We don't need to know. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to just say this really quick. Mark fucking murdered that presentation, so give him a big
my
round of
God!
applause.
Oh, God, how do I do that?
That's like easily 20 hours of research to find out all the crazy shit Google got up to.
And at least 10 hours of butt pictures.
Right.
This way. And then if
What's up? What's up with you, Sam? What's the latest?
I ate a lot before I got here, and I regret it.
Wait.
Me too.
Yeah.
I went to brunch. I went to brunch at a place where my friend is the bartender, and he made me drink 2.5 bottles of champagne.
He made you drink it.
Well, I mean, it was implied. And I just went home and I slept for 3 hours, and then I came here.
That sounds nice.
Technically, I had dinner first and I ate
like,
too much.
lock on me. So. Okay, all right.
Hey,
And we're live.
smooth.
Sorry about that. It worked in rehearsal, so, you know. All right, so, cookies, past, present, future. Here we go. Jesus Christ. Wait.
Yeah, hit it, Darren. All right.
don't use the mouse at all.
I did
What was
it.
the
I
last
didn't
thing you
touch it.
Googled?
The last thing I Googled.
Good.
All right.
No, just push the front.
Oh, Ron Livingston.
Why?
I'm
right.
watching Band of
All
Brothers.
right, hope this works. All right.
Okay, here we go.
So,
Smooth.
sorry about that, everybody. Hope you're still paying attention. It's going to be a little bit lower energy, probably, than you. Once upon a time, in 1994, the internet looked like ass, but it was pretty new and exciting to the general public. One of the first web browsers was called Netscape Navigator. There it is. 1980s babies will remember. One of the first, and its developer, one of them was named Lou Montulli, and he is 1999's sexiest internet mogul, according to People magazine. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, right? This is him on the set of like Law and Order, I think, maybe. It's a very natural pose. But I agree. I don't think that People magazine was wrong. What Lou did is he figured out that websites could put little packets of text onto like visitors' browsers, and those would then store certain information and transmit it back to the website's server. And this was a way to give the internet like memory. So websites would remember you or your browser when you came back. So when you like log into a website and then you leave and you come back, you're still logged in. If I put a nightstand from Wayfair in my shopping cart and then I leave and it'll still be there when I come back. Lou called these cookies. And in case you're curious, the name doesn't come from cookie crumbs like I thought it did. Tech reporter. It comes from something called magic cookies, which is something about computer programs sending packets of information back and forth. Not really sure what that means. Maybe like passing notes in class kind of thing. I don't know, whatever. Anyway.
Is it possible that those magic cookies come from cookies? Because then we could cut that middleman right out.
I have to tell you, the Wikipedia.com didn't say.
Oh, shit.
I'm a tech reporter. But as you can imagine, the internet being able to remember you when you go and come back and where you go made the internet easier to use, and people were pleased. There he is. But wasn't long until advertisers realized that they could use cookies and make money and also make the internet kind of suck. So.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
What have you done?
That's been cracking me up for a week now.
Top teeth on the bottom looks so scary.
Lou, by the way, he is sorry about that, but he's also an internet mogul and sexy, so he's probably not that sorry. So how do advertisers make money from cookies? They give them the ability to know and target their users, essentially, and they're now an intrinsic part of the internet economy. So let's talk about how this works. I'm sorry I didn't make another slide in between this, because this guy's kind of creeping me out too now. Basically, you've got two kinds of cookies. First-party cookies are the ones set by the website and the domain that you're visiting. They're usually used to remember you and other things that are good. I call them the chocolate chip cookie of cookies. You want them, they make your life better. Awesome. Third-party cookies are set by a different domain. That's typically the advertiser who wants to track you. I call them the oatmeal raisin cookies, because they... Yeah, right. Because they suck, and sometimes you think you're getting a good cookie, chocolate chip, and then it's an oatmeal raisin cookie, and you're like, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
That really divided the audience there.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I don't want to hear about it. If you like oatmeal raisin cookies, you can leave. I'm sorry. I'm very passionate. So here's what a cookie sort of actually looks like. It's not much to look at, but it is the backbone of the internet economy. You won't see that. What you will see is this. You need a nightstand, so you go to Wayfair, do a little browsing. This one looks cool. But, you decide not to buy it after all. Instead, you go to another website to read some really good quality journalism from one of your favorite reporters. She knows how to use slides the first time, doesn't need help. She presents this technical information in a way that just makes it really interesting and relatable. It's really good stuff right here. Really insightful. What the hell? Ads! Yeah, and then that nightstand ad follows you around the internet for the next 3 weeks, maybe longer. So, where does Google come into all of this? Well, Google is one of those advertisers putting cookies all over your browser. So, say I go to Wayfair, Google has a cookie there, puts it on my browser. I go to upscalewomensclothingline.com, Google has a cookie there, puts it on my browser. Go to furryporn.com, Google has a cookie there, puts it on my browser. So while Wayfair, upscalewomensclothingline.com, and furryporn.com, they don't know what I'm doing on each other's websites, but Google knows what I'm doing on all of them. And it's building a profile of me based on all of that information, and that includes my location, the site I came from, the site I go to, et cetera, et cetera. So a company can go to Google and say, hey, I want to target ads to a certain category of customer, upper-class women in New York City who like nightstands and furries. I don't think that Love of Furries is an actual ad targeting category. I just did this for illustrative purposes. I'd also like you to note that I am not into furries or furry porn, and I'm actually regretting my decision to use them here. But Google will target ads to users that fit those categories. Not me, because I don't. Not one of them, upper-class women, furry porn. Okay, anyway, my parents are watching this on the live stream.
Yeah, they're commenting furiously in the chat. I have no daughter. I have no daughter.
I think my brother and sister-in-law are too. Oh, well.
And your dad is saying, I've got to go. I have a website I have to go visit.
I'm starting to feel like my protests of not watching furry porn are making people think even more that I do, but I don't. Anyway, what can also happen is a store says, hey, Google, I want to stock my potential customers with ads for products they were looking at on my site. Google sends you retargeted ads that, again, stalk you on the internet for the rest of your life. So Google makes money. The site the ads are hosted on make money. The company doing the advertising makes money because, in theory, people who see the products then go and buy them. You do not make money. But, you get access to a lot of these sites and services for free because they're supported by the ads that are put on. Now, Google is not the only company doing this, obviously, but it is doing it the most. It is the biggest digital ad installer in the whole world. According to a study, it has some kind of tracker, cookie or otherwise, installed on 92% of the world's top 1,000 websites in the world. It makes $135 billion a year just from ads. And then you saw how many robot dogs that can buy. So, a lot. I'm going to read this real quickly because it's just a list. From Google's own site to give you a sense of scope of the type of cookies that you are looking at and how you don't understand anything that they are. Google uses cookies like NID and SID to serve you customized ads on its own properties. Google uses cookies with names like IDE, ANIDD, SID, FLC, AID, TAID, and exchange_UID to serve you customized ads on non-Google sites. Google's cookies do not have to come from Google because it also has cookies from domains it owns, including AdMob.com, AdSense, CustomSearchAds.com, AdWords.com, Google DoubleClick.net, GoogleAdServices.com, GoogleAPIs.com, GoogleSyndication.com, GoogleTagManager.com, GoogleTagServices.com, Google TravelAdServices.com, GoogleUserContent.com, Google-Analytics.com, GStatic.com, which is my new rap group, Urchin.com, my new punk band, YouTube.com, and YTIMG.com. And there are probably a million more. And that's not even to mention the cookies set by everybody else. So if you haven't cleared your cookies in a while, check your browser. You probably got thousands, tens of thousands of them floating around trying to tell you that you need to buy a nightstand. That, again, has been the backbone of the internet economy since the mid-1990s, but maybe not for much longer. So these days, we all know a lot more about when cookies are being used because of that European law. Means that websites have to tell us in annoying pop-ups that they have to. And then we have to say accept. We don't get to say no. We just get to know they're there, whatever. And we are increasingly able to block cookies. So browsers have extensions like Ghostery, Privacy Badger, AdBlock. Those block the bad... Big fan of AdBlock over here, right? Yeah. I have all three of them. I can't make any websites work anymore. Browsers, a lot of them have been letting you go into security privacy settings, and you can block cookies from there. And then now a lot of them are letting you do it just by default. So that's good, because a lot of human beings kind of suck at opting out of stuff, because we're lazy, and also it's hard to find privacy settings. So the default cookie blocker browsers include DuckDuckGo, Tor, Firefox, and Safari. There's a default cookie blocking trend. Wait, I think a browser is missing. Which one is that? Oh, we have Chrome, which again, 65% of us use. Who owns Chrome? Who owns Chrome? Who owns Chrome?
Is it furryporn.com?
No, I think it's Google. Yeah. So Google was probably not too happy to get rid of a big moneymaker, but it recently announced that by 2022, it will get rid of third-party cookies. Sort of. It's a brilliant explanation of this decision, but I will summarize it here. They said this would be about building a more private web, but it doesn't want to block cookies outright and undermine the business model of many ad-supported websites. $135 billion a year is how much Google makes from ads. So it's going to work with parties across the ecosystem to ensure that everyone will still be able to make money off of target internet ads somehow. $135 billion, guys. So the thing is, getting rid of cookies, sounds good, right? Might be. But Google and pretty much every other company in the world isn't going to do something that will cause them to lose money, $135 billion a year. So they will replace cookies with something else, and that something or somethings will probably get to know you even better than a browser cookie ever possibly could. And actually, this has already begun. I mean, you pretty much saw this in the slideshow already, but yeah, a lot of products here. Android, Chromecast, Waze, they're in your home, they're watching you, they're listening to you. I'm not saying that Google is building a profile of you based on all of those things. You can make that decision for yourself. And I'm doing this using Google Slides. Really great product. Seriously, just think of all the stuff you do on the internet. When you're logged onto your Google account, you go to check your email, open your Google browser, and then you're logged on. watch a YouTube video about guitar lessons, you will see ads for guitars all over your next Google search, which I know for a fact because Google actually said that in its own privacy policy as an example. And you can actually see for yourself what Google knows about you. You go to myactivity.google.com. A friend of mine was saying the other day that she did that for Instagram, and it said that she likes male friends' birthdays, which she wanted to... What did I do to make it think I didn't like female friends' birthdays? I don't know. It's like, screw you. My birthday was August 28th. Didn't do shit. And you also, if you go into Google's privacy settings, security settings, etc., play around, you can find a lot of ways to turn this tracking off, which will give you the false impression that your privacy is being respected and protected. I actually did this. So now, when I go to Wayfair to look at nightstands, which I do a lot, I don't get stalked by ads forever afterwards. Now the ads are coming from inside the house. That is actually my email. And that is all. Thank you.
These nightstands!
Lucky
Give it up, everybody!
Let's give it up for Sarah! Yeah! Great job! Woo! Sarah Morrison, everybody! That's so I don't spill it on the computer like last time.
That
All right.
seems like a great place to put it.
Yeah.
I'm putting it right there so I don't trip on
A nice low traffic area on a carpet that's not nailed down.
it. Here, can you hold this for me, please?
Uh-oh,
Thank
shaky
you so
hands
much.
over there.
Okay, so I do want to just address, here's what happened, okay? So this is something, I make presentations all the time, and I only recently started getting into presenter notes. Who here knows what presenter notes are? All right, all right. I can tell that this is an audience for my show because people are raising their hands. Yes, I am. I know. Should I put my hand down? I'm having fun. God bless you, sir. So presenter notes are like these little notes. You could basically, when you're editing a presentation, you can just like cheat and put like what you're supposed to say down here. You see down here, so like blee blue blue blah 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 blah. But then you could like make it bigger text. And this is a public service announcement because Sarah was trying to control a Google Doc and a slideshow at the same time. And so when she pushed next, it would move this. But then when she moved her mouse on the dock, then the slides would lose focus. So then the clicker is moving the dock. So
That's awesome, man.
That is awesome. So, hey, remember for your slideshow-based comedy shows on the Lower East Side, if you're on Google Docs...
worth it! Sam, how's the live stream? Anybody talking?
We got a lot of moms in here,
We got moms!
so I'm having a great time. I was just sort of talking about like what the last thing I Googled was, which is, can my cat eat mashed potatoes? She can.
All right, hey. You know, I do think that it would be like a fun... I think that there's a comedy show in... Can I have that?
God, she's got to clear your throat with some sticky cider juice, huh?
It's that rosé cider. Thank you so much.
Sorry, available at the
okay,
bar.
So I think that like seeing what your recommended YouTube videos is a very funny way to start a conversation. Like right now, all of my recommended YouTube videos are either Brian David Gilbert from Polygon talking about a video game, or like a 20-year-old video of Bernie Sanders getting into an argument with another congressman.
Yeah, those are good.
And that's all I watch now.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay,
That's
cool.
awesome.
All right, so, okay, everybody. At the end of every show, I harvest your emails. I'm sorry, and you're welcome. And I email everybody, and I ask for you to vote on things for me to do for my next show. And so 2 things got elected. Okay. This time, one of them was making a piece of art out of a Google Calendar. So I would like to show you my Google Calendar. This is a Google Calendar I made called Guy Trying to Make It in Comedy.
Oh,
So
no.
it's...
I'm triggered already.
I realize that you can't read any of it.
Very small.
But we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna see how it goes. So this is just my attempt at recreating what my Google Calendar looked like about 10 years ago.
Every day starts with good morning tweet.
Yes, every day I have a good morning tweet. The description here is tweet every single morning and you will be happy. And then Saturday was Twitch stream improvising while playing Mario Kart. Got to build the following. Let's see here. It's artist date. See Uncut Gems. That's tomorrow.
Is that with somebody? What's the deal?
No,
with an artist date?
you go to that alone.
By yourself.
You go
Okay,
to that alone.
Got it.
That's what this.
It's a date with your art.
And you're so tired from such a great movie. You gotta eat spaghetti.
Spaghetti Sunday.
Okay.
That's you eat spaghetti on a Sunday. And then over here we've got figure out Snapchat ? That's 4 hours.
Okay.
That's like a 4-hour block here.
Is it still a thing? You spent 4 hours on that. Is that still a thing?
I don't know. That's on Thursday. That's on Monday.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do
We'll
this.
circle back.
Yeah.
We'll circle back. I filled this out for months thinking that this would be a really great bit, and then today I'm on the phone with Raleigh and I'm like, how the fuck am I going to communicate this to people?
You guys were like on the phone together, or what?
Yeah. In my defense, that was right after my brunch, so I don't remember this phone call.
You could have like called me too.
I should have called Sam.
Yeah.
I should have called Sam. You're right.
Sam would have just said, awesome.
Okay, so here's Saturday. February 1st, I wrote, write a hilarious Seinfeld spec script just like the other guy did because he got famous and now I need to be famous. And as far as I can tell, that's the fastest and best way of doing that.
12 hours. That'll get you there.
12-hour. I'm gonna just click through a few more of these and pray that some of them you laugh at them, but maybe I'll just send this. I'll send this in the email, and you'll at work you'll like look at it for a few minutes and be like, that's it. That's the reaction. You're just gonna like skip a few years and be like, oh yeah, I did that. Over here on Thursday the 6th, star in Shayna's web series about a girl just trying to figure it out in New York City. No budget.
Oh, can the whole thing be shot in an apartment?
Yes, you better
Perfect.
believe it is.
Perfect.
This is it's really sad is what it is.
SAT tutoring!
SAT tutoring.
Ultimately, what this is the first like 8 years of your life in New York.
Yeah, of course. So like there's drink a lot because it's the weekend and I simply have to. Write SNL recaps. The description is critique the hits and the flops on my Medium blog. There are people who do that. Should I do stand-up ? That's a 5-hour block. Live tweet the Oscars. If I do not live tweet the Oscars, I cannot call myself a comedian. That's a real thing I felt at one time. Let's see here. Okay, I'll give you one more. Shoot non-union commercial for $50. Location, Jamaica, Queens. This ad for Mattress King will be the ticket.
As someone who's been in 2 mattress commercials, I can tell you it is the ticket.
Anyway, I'll send you this. I did it. It's so funny. It's so funny, I promise. But it's fine. It's fine. That's that. Okay. Let's forget that ever happened.
You should put a calendar invite that says "Forget this whole thing ever happened" at the end.
It's gonna get meta, you know. Okay, so for this next guest, this is really cool. As I mentioned in the presentation, Google has fired 5 employees in the past between Thanksgiving and the second week of December. Allegedly, on the part of the employees, they believe they were fired for trying to organize. So I got to interview the 5th person who was fired, Kathryn Spiers. She is moving to New York tomorrow. So this is a video interview that I did earlier this week, and it rocks. So I'm gonna show it to you, and there is what my apartment looks like, and that's it. Yeah. So
Google has long been the example of a company that's really good to its employees. Scooters around the office, 25% time, nap pods, massage rooms. Yet recently, the company has been in the news a lot for the exact opposite problem: worker unrest. From the massive Google walkouts in 2018 to protests against the company's lack of action against climate change, to the recent firing of employees for labor organizing, it's become quite clear that not all Googlers think it's the perfect place to work. I wanted to learn more, so I spoke to someone with first-hand experience in the Google employee conflict.
I'm Kathryn. I'm a security nerd that does software development.
Kathryn was recently fired from Google in December 2019.
Tell me a little bit about why you were fired.
I was fired for changing some code in an extension that my team had created. It was called Court Policy Notifier. Its job was to notify users about policies and guidelines at Google. The change I added added a pop-up for the internal community guidelines page and the IRI website. IRI is the union busting firm that Google hired, and all it was a pop-up that reminded people not to violate Google's right and that they had the right to protected concerted activity.
Did that violate any internal rules at Google or anything like that?
I don't believe so. It was well within my job description and well within my team's responsibilities. They are accusing me of violating the standards of conduct, the basic security policy, and the network security policy. They wouldn't explain to me how I violated them.
And now you no longer have access to those policies, right?
That is correct.
Fun. Talk to me about what you do in the aftermath.
So I filed the charge before I was fired, actually.
Oh.
The unfair labor practices doesn't require me to be fired. It just requires me to be unfairly punished for my labor organizing. And so when they put me on administrative leave, that was potentially sufficient.
So how long were you on administrative leave?
From just before Thanksgiving until December the 13th.
Oh, wow.
I was fired on Friday the 13th.
Now, there were a handful of other Googlers that were famously fired that Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Did you know them?
I knew some of them in that I had been chatting with them. But yeah, the same day they were fired was the day I made my court policy notifier change, and I was placed on admin leave at the end of the day. They were fired in the morning.
So you go on administrative leave, and do they, like, what is that period like? Do they talk to you?
The day I was put on leave, they interrogated me that night and asked me lots of questions. What happened was someone just showed up at my desk. I had stayed late to try and talk to my boss, and who was in Sydney at the time. And someone shows up at my desk and says, I work for Heather, who was Heather Atkins, the director of detection and response at Google. And he said, please follow me. So I walk with him into a meeting room, and suddenly on the video screen is Stephen C. King, the director of global investigations.
Oh my gosh. This kind of feels like an isolated incident that kind of came out of nowhere.
Well, before working on this, I was working on an extension called Always Ask Kent. Kent is Kent Walker, the CLO of Google. And what this extension did was anytime you opened a Google Doc, it sent an email to Kent Walker asking him if the doc was need to know. This was following some changes in the need to know policy at Google that was being used to restrict organizers' visibility into, for example, Google's dealings with Customs and Border Protection.
Oh.
And so this was like a serious issue, and I figured that this would be a lighthearted way of getting clarification on the policy. It wasn't my idea, although because I worked on Chrome extensions at Google, I figured it was within my area to help contribute.
Did that extension exist? Did that actually get pushed through?
So the difference between the two is the Always Ask Kent one, people willingly chose to install, and the court policy notifier was an extension that was installed by policy on the fleet.
Do you have any idea how many emails were sent to Kent as a result?
They asked. I don't really.
Wait, when you say they asked?
I was interrogated by Google on 3 separate occasions.
Oh, wow. Oh, so they were not super happy that you made that?
No. But luckily for me, I found a lawyer that's willing to argue that it's protected concerted activity, and so I'm still in the process of going through the NLRB charge against Google. Sorry, before we move off of Always Ask Kent, the thing I want to make clear is that I wasn't the only one working on that, and just because I was the one that got fired, I'm the one that's visible, but it's very important to me to acknowledge that it was somebody else's idea and someone else contributed most of the code for that.
God, if somebody got an email every single time I alone opened a Google Doc, It'd be like if they donated to a presidential campaign. Which reminds me, I need every single person watching this video to send me $2.70 by midnight so that I could take down those fat cats. I needed to hear more about those interrogations.
When I hear the word interrogation, as somebody who's never been interrogated before, like I see a smoky room with one single light bulb and you have a Diet Coke or something like that.
So no, I mean, that would be the more cinematic telling, right? But instead of that, it was a standard meeting room and a violation of all Google's norms for meetings. I was told I couldn't use the restroom. I was told not to touch any of my electronics. It was already like 5:30 at night when the meeting started, and I was supposed to have a date that night. I said, do you mind if I quickly tell my date? I'm going to be late. And I was told, no.
Oh my God.
And also, this man was 6 levels above me in terms of like reporting chain, so there was like a very clear power imbalance going into this. And so I feel comfortable calling that an interrogation. The following two were done remotely, so I was at least in my own space. But to the next two, Google brought its own staff attorney, also telling me that I couldn't have my attorney present. Or actually, to be clear, they told other people they couldn't have their attorneys present. I didn't ask because other people had already been told no.
That seems very intense.
Yeah, they gave me a whole speech about attorney-client privilege and how just because I worked for the company and she worked for the company, that did not mean she was my attorney. She was Google's attorney and they could do whatever they want with attorney-client privilege.
Why couldn't you have an attorney with you?
Because they're my employer and they can say who they want in my meetings. This is one of the big reasons why like a union is a good idea, because then I would have been entitled to having a union rep in the room.
It's common that people will say something to the effect of, you know, why do tech workers need to unionize? They already make so much money. How would you respond to that?
So I've spent a lot of time thinking about what benefits I would want from a union, and I know that my desires aren't everyone's, but the first one is general to everyone. That is, I don't want to build unethical things. I think that I should have a right to say no to making weapons of war, and I think that a union would help me push for that. The comment about making money, there are tons and tons of well-paid people that are still unionized because it's not necessarily about compensation or benefits. It can also be a support system for dealing with harassment at work.
Stupid question. Does Kathryn still use Google?
I imagine your relationship with Google is different than it was a year ago?
Switch to an iPhone.
Hey!
I mean, I didn't really have a good technical reason for doing so. It just, you feel watched, right?
Oh gosh, sure.
Like, even if it's all in my head, the comfort I got from switching to iPhone was non-zero.
It's been 2 months since Kathryn got fired. How have things been for her?
There have been some things I've really enjoyed and some things that have caused me a lot of stress, right? Not having a job, obviously, not ideal. And when Royal put out his statement, I don't know if you saw this, Royal Hansen is the vice president of all of security and privacy at Google. And it really felt like Royal did everything in his power to end my career.
Wow, and that has to feel really horrible.
Certainly didn't feel good.
Have people reached out to you in support and solidarity with what you're going through?
Yeah, so from people I already knew, the overwhelming support, the overwhelming response has been positive. People have been incredibly nice to me about this whole thing. That being said, I also received quite the flood of transphobic comments, and those were worthless to me. I was very good during this whole thing. I only responded to one internet comment that was sent to me from someone that I didn't know or that I didn't previously have a connection to. It was someone asking why there was a bunch of locks behind me in my photo, and that was just some love locks that we found in San Francisco.
Oh, are love locks the things where like you're on a bridge and you make a lock?
Yeah, you padlock it. Some people write their initials on the lock. I do lock sport as a hobby, and so it worked as a wonderful backdrop.
Lock sport, is that lock picking?
Lock picking and other bypass techniques and other things around locks. Yes, there are contests, right, where you have like 3 locks in a row, and it's see how fast you can pick them.
Oh man, so that's like super escape the room.
It's escape the room for massive nerds. Yes.
Yeah.
Lock sport? That sounds incredible, and maybe definitely the subject of a future video series that I'll be making. In the meantime, I wanted to get Kathryn's perspective on the future.
Do you see a future for labor organization in tech companies?
Without a doubt. I think that Google is trying to steamroll organizers now, and I think if they push hard and fast, it is possible. But I think that a lot of people are responding in kind, and while there is a chilling effect from what they're doing, I think labor will persevere, but I think now is the time to do it.
Do you have any words of encouragement for other organizers out there who might be watching this and be thinking, I'm on the fence, I kind of want to start a union, but I'm afraid?
The useful advice I got in the summer of 2018 was start a fuck off fund. If you are organizing at a company, odds are they won't like it, and you'll be very happy when you can tell them to fuck off. If I hadn't started thinking about that in 2018, I don't think it would have been as easy for me to make the change in 2019.
I asked Kathryn if she had any final thoughts before we wrapped up.
A lot of tech workers don't understand that the laptop isn't the most important means of production for them, and that unless they own a data center, they have more in common with the Amazon warehouse workers than they do with Jeff Bezos.
And that's Kathryn Spiers, everybody! Dude. Kathryn, I wish she could be here. She's so fucking cool. She's like a full decade younger than me and doing way cooler stuff than I'll ever do. And she'll be in New York starting tomorrow. So if you're a tech worker who's looking for somebody who's super badass, she'll be at the Recode Center starting on Monday. So...
And don't worry about giving her a key. She'll just get it.
Dude, I don't know if you caught the moment. I know it's a Skype interview, so it's kind of pixelated or whatever, but the moment when she says lock sport, my face just goes like, what? It's just this like amazing moment. I'm not gonna do it, but okay. I have one final little treat for everybody here. So the other bit that was voted on last show was I was challenged to make a game in Google Docs. So I did, and I was like, I'm not just gonna make choose your own adventure, right? Like choose your own adventure. I've done that kind of thing before. Like a Google Doc that links to other Google Docs would be cool and fun. I wanted to do something new that I've never done before. So I'd like to introduce everybody to Find That Number! Okay. Find That Number is the exciting new game from Mark Vigent Incorporated where users have to find a number in a spreadsheet. Wow. I am choking on my own palpable excitement. Can I have a volunteer from the audience who thinks they can find that number? Let's see, we got a hand right here. Come on up, ma'am. Come, yes. It's time for you to find a number. Hello. Okay, and what's your name? Megan. It's lovely to meet you. I'm Mark. It's really lovely to meet you. So I have a little external trackpad.
Whoa!
Because the new MacBook Pros are horrible.
I got my partner one for Christmas.
Hey, very cool, very cool. I got this from a Facebook vending machine. Because that's right, at Facebook headquarters, they have vending machines full of free Apple products. And I was there with my friend who works at Facebook. Okay, moving on. I was very happy to take their shit. I got a lot of shit that time. Okay, what did I just open? Okay, here we go. So here's what you're gonna do. So we've got 3 levels of difficulty, easy, medium, and hard. I want you to start on easy. And I want you to just start on easy. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna press start, and then try to find the number, and then you have to. Do you know the notation, like the Excel notation?
No.
So it's just the letter of the column followed by the number of the row.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. So you just have to type that in to the appropriate box, and then you found that number.
This sounds like it's gonna be the next Fortnite.
This
Mark.
is gonna be a good game. Okay, so also yeah,
So this
that's
is hard
oh, okay. Hold
because
on, actually
I
that's
have
fair.
to-
I'm gonna mirror my screen. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
You do that the whole show?
Well, I used to mirror my screen. Funny you should ask. This is something everybody clearly cares about. I used to mirror my screen and memorize my whole presentations, and they're really long. So I was like, this is hard. And okay, we're ready now, so I'm gonna stop talking. Okay, so find that number. So are you ready, Darren? Give Megan some music, and you don't have to use that trackpad. You can use that trackpad, but you can use whichever one you want.
I'm so confused, but I'm gonna go for it.
Go for it.
Yes.
We're off to a great start. Here we go.
And she launched the dictionary. Start. Here we go. So the value you're looking for is 3. Can you find it? Okay, she. Hold on, Megan. You gotta type it in.
Oh, where?
You gotta type it into the box right here.
Oh, right. Where's the box over there?
I'm pointing to the thing you can't see.
Oh, I love the dictionary.
Launching the dictionary is an amazing piece of this game. I'd say that's the #1 pitfall in your game so far. No! Hey!
Okay, all right. So I feel like. How'd you feel there, Megan?
I felt confused, but now I know how it works.
Now you know how it works. Let's rank it up to medium.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, ease your load, friend.
This guy's like, we get it,
He's
dude.
like, give me hard, give me hard, do hard. No, but do medium because I did all. I made several. We're gonna do all of them. Here, I'll do this part. All right, here we go.
Hey, why don't you just pre-launch that dictionary so we get that up there?
All right, here we go. Clicker.
Hey!
High five, Megan. I'm loving that you do that. Okay, here we go. Find the number. You're looking for 9. You found it.
Whoa!
What the fuck? 4 seconds. Wow. Okay. Wow, Megan, how did that feel? That felt good. That gotta feel good.
This felt like 4th grade.
Wow.
Damn.
Did you have a good 4th grade?
Excellent, much better than 5th grade.
I see. I was obese in 4th grade, and it was miserable for me. But that was mostly because of the smells and the bullying. Okay, here we go. And go for it. Here we go. Find the number. Okay, your number is 9. Your number is 9. Who found it? Who found it? There it is. Type it in. Megan, wow, okay, Megan, I think you did a really great job there. I think that, everybody in the audience got to experience the whole, the timer keeps going 1 more second after you find that number. How did it feel on hard? Like, talk to us about your strategy.
My strategy was to listen to the audience member who shouted out C3 and then look at C3, confirm, and type it in.
Okay, Megan, you did a really great job, and here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna double down, and I'm gonna ask the audience if there's one more volunteer, and see if they can beat your score of 7 seconds on hard mode, and whoever.
No audience help for them.
No audience help for them.
Yeah.
Do we have a second volunteer? Somebody who thinks they can beat 7 seconds in find that number? Come on up, sir. Yes.
And
let's give it up for her.
It's the hard guy.
Yeah. Let's add some context to that.
Hard.
Hey, remember when you shouted "It's the hard guy" in front of everybody?
Guy.
That's feminism.
And what's your name, sir? Yefim, are you? So talking to the microphone here, Yefim. How are you feeling? What's your strategy going into find that number here?
Well, since I can't rely on the audience, I'm gonna go column by column.
Okay, he's gonna go column by column.
Huge mistake. Classic error.
So this
in
is
find
like
that
a
number.
classic N.
Sorry, N times M.
Yeah, that's.
N is the rows and M is the columns.
And they're equal, so it's n squared, babe. All right, here we go. Wow. And we are going to theme.
Launch that dictionary.
Yeah, dictionary.
Find the number, find the number. He's looking for 9, he's looking for 9. Megan is cleverly blocking the screen from people.
Gotta find 9, gotta find 9.
Wow. I don't even know where it is.
Gotta find 9, gotta find 9, gotta find 9, gotta find 9, gotta find 9.
You gotta find that 9 every single time. Oh, I love to rhyme, rapping like I like. Hey! Interesting.
Team, not bad, not bad. 21 seconds on your first attempt. How did it feel there? How did it feel, your theme?
I needed help.
You needed help. I'm sorry, Fred. Megan, it looks like you are the winner here.
Well, okay. All right, hold on. Megan took 21 seconds on easy mode on her first try. So we got to give Yefim one more try.
Okay, that's true. Okay, he's getting one more try here. Okay, Yefim, what are you going to do differently this time?
I don't know.
Hey, get that dictionary up real quick, boy.
Command F.
Oh, honor system. He's going to use Command F, which I was going to try to prevent, but I'm not going to. And go, Yefim!
Oh! Wait for it.
Oh! Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the Houston Astros. That's what we call a sports joke. I'm dabbing. Yefim, you did technically beat Megan.
No,
with 6 seconds.
She was. Wasn't Megan 4?
She was 7 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But because you also cheated, but you were the first person to ever cheat in the history of competitive Find That Number.
That means you're the boss of Find That Number. Congratulations.
That means that you both get a free drink. Yay! Come find me after the show. I'll buy you a free drink. Let's have a seat. Let's give it up for Yefim and Megan.
Find That 9 is what I call dating in New York.
Whoa! Watch out!
Wow, I have to say, Find That Number was a real personal growth journey for me. I really enjoyed that. I think that went well. So just a little for the nerds out there. There's a script editor, okay? You could just write JavaScript, and like I saw a guy make Tetris in Google Sheets, and I was like, well, that's no fun. I'm not gonna actually make Tetris. I'm gonna make a stupid game. And that's what I did, and it was really fun. But ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our show tonight. I want to thank everybody who performed tonight. Let's give it up big for Sarah Morrison. She was so awesome. Let's give it up for Kathryn Spiers. I'd like to thank Raleigh Williams, Sam Reese, Darren Solomon. I want to give it up for my producer, the amazing Grace Vigent. She's my wife, not my sister. I would love to thank the man helping us with our live stream, Cole, in the booth back there, our production coordinator, Carl, St. Lucie, and all the amazing people at Caveat, Paula, Ben, Kate, Laura, our bartender tonight. Let's give it up for her. This show is a monthly show. The next show is on March 27th. And it's about the gig economy. And I have to tell you, if you were a person who shouted, woo, for labor, you're gonna like that show. So get your butt back here. I'm Mark Vigent. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.